strongly caution, the following programs are intended for mature audiences over the age of 18. These programs may contain some material that many parents would not find suitable for children and may include intense violence, sexual situations, coarse language, and suggestive dialogue.
All right, happy motherfucking Friday. Another episode of Sound Injection. We are here with Kevin from God's End. How you doing, dude?
Hey, thanks for having me. Feeling pretty good. How about you guys?
I am fantastic.
It's a great week. This was a 3-day weekend at that. So we get to walk out.
4-day weekend. Me.
Oh, 4-day.
Not for me. I got to work the whole goddamn weekend plus Labor Day. So kiss my ass.
Jeez.
Nope.
So I gotta say, like, I actually found you guys in a fucking Facebook ad.
Ooh.
It works.
Nice. All right.
I spend so much time on this show, like, looking for newer bands. Like, we'll do big bands. Like, we've had Bumblefoot from Guns N' Roses on here, and we've had a couple of other really big bands, but I really like trying to find more of those, like, grassroots bands that are just starting to come up and kind of give them a spotlight to get out there a little bit more and get seen. So I've seen where a lot of bands are using the Facebook ads. And you guys popped up, and I went and checked it out, and I was just like, I immediately hit up my assistant. I was like, I need you to get a hold of these guys. Please, for the love of the fucking gods, get a hold of this band and get them on here, because this shit is fucking amazing. So, how long have you guys been a band?
Started late 2022, and now we're mid 2024.
Okay. So how's the West Virginia metal scene? Like, I've been to West Virginia and I've toured. I'm in bands. Actually, the intro music you heard is actually my band.
Okay.
So I've toured and done all that and been up to West Virginia. And one of the shows, I was working for a radio station, and we worked a festival up there called Metal in the Mountains out of Pipestem, West Virginia.
I've heard of that. Okay.
Got to see some bands up there, but I really haven't seen very many bands from West Virginia. So is there much of a metal scene up there at all?
Yes and no. So yes, there are bands that play. I could list 10, I could list 20. Are there shows? Sometimes. There are promoters out there. I've seen a few through Facebook ads now that computers and everything know exactly where I'm at all times. I'll see Facebook
Right.
ads or Insta ads or whatever ads saying, "Hey, you're from West Virginia. You like metal. Guess what? You'll like this page." And it's a promotion thing. So yes, I've seen that there are shows. If I walked outside my house right now, I could look over and see Ohio. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as like where the Ohio River is. Pretty far up north. Now I'm very close to Pittsburgh. I'm 45 minutes from Pittsburgh. I'm 2 hours from
nice.
Columbus, 3 hours from Cleveland. So when people ask, "Hey, how's West Virginia doing?" Not great, but there are other opportunities to go somewhere if need be. We've played West Virginia, we've played Pennsylvania, Ohio, we've played Maryland. Maryland only took 4 hours to get there, and then last year randomly for a show we were asked to do a Virginia Beach show, and that took. It's going to sound funny. It only took 8 hours. So it didn't take too long to get there. And I think we got on that because of an Insta ad or a Facebook ad or something. So I know my drummer hopped on for a second. Do you see the benefits of ads? They're so good.
It was y'all's ad that got you on the show. So
Exactly.
I feel like there's a story behind that though. Like, did you guys have some kind of rivalry about do the Facebook ads work or don't work?
No, it's an everyday conversation with fans. You could write I'm not saying we write the best music ever. That's not the case. You could write the best album ever. You could send it to the biggest mix master engineer ever. You have all that fun stuff happen. You have to play the game. You have to advertise, and it's not fun.
Sure.
It's business. So as much as like the dream is to fun and hope for that, you got to put in the work. So no, there's no like hidden rivalry. There's no weirdness about it. It's just one of those things where you're like, all right, I guess we're gonna set an ad for a week. Let's do it.
Right. I mean, we always ask that question because so many bands are like, we've heard, yes and no. We've heard we hate it. It didn't work for us. It didn't do anything. And then we've heard, oh shit, it did this, it did this, it did this, it did this. And I really honestly think that the whole Facebook marketing for bands, really it's a roll of dice.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a 50-50 shot. And it's like, what else are you going to do? It's roll the dice, and either it doesn't do shit and you're out $20,
Yep.
or it does something for you and gets you interviews or shows or what have you. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of them. I have used them to build up, everything from my bands to even the Hellfire page and stuff like that. And it did work. Did it work as good as they said it was going to? No. But did it work to some extent? Yes.
Did it work overnight? No. Did it work every time? No.
No.
But you did see some success with that. And it's the same thing across the board, whether it be Meta or TikTok or literally just word of mouth. You can go out on the street at a show and be like, hey, check out my band. And you might get punched in the mouth, or someone who's like, hey, I'll check out your band. Again, roll the dice. In-person advertising. And it just depends on who you are, where you're at, time of day. There's so many factors.
Right. So how have you guys done so far on the road as more of a, local semi-regional band? Have you had good experiences with going to other cities as far as how people respond to your music? Or has it been like, fuck you guys, you're not from here, we don't care?
That's I would say the surprising thing. Every time we go somewhere, let's bring up the roll of the dice again. People ask me too, hey, do you get excited for shows before you go? I mean, a little bit, but I never know what it's gonna be until we get there. I'm generally just kind of mellow and just waiting to see what happens until we get there. Every time, whether it be Maryland, Ohio, the Virginia Beach one, we got one coming up in Indiana here soon. Every time we go, I am floored by the response. Maryland was the one that I'll probably never forget. Just the fact that it was a town I've never heard of. Bands that are probably from that area. A couple bands that were on there had a following, which was great. And then we were asked, and then every time we get asked, I'm like, why? Why are we not? Now, if people enjoy our music, fantastic. I'm just the kind of guy that's like very chill, ready to go for whatever. Hey, you want to play a show? Sure. Hey, do you want to do this? All right, sure. Where are we going? What are we doing? That one for sure. When we got into the town itself, and that's another thing. Like, what's the town like? Is it going to be Joe's bar, or is it going to be like an actual stage? Is it going to have a sound system? There's a lot of what ifs here. This place was awesome. It's called Cafe 611, and I'll talk it up every time I can. It was in Frederick, Maryland. We drove 4 hours. We do not have a van. We have our guitarist Tyler's dad's truck, which is very fun to drive in. But we also have a very minimal live setup in general. Like, we don't carry tons of amps. We don't have this. We don't have that. We're all direct in. We have in-ears. We have a rack system that we made. So our load in, load out's very easy. It doesn't really matter if we're in his dad's truck or a 10-passenger van or whatever. So getting to that area, I was very impressed with the architecture, the scene, the vibe. There was a mall right down the road that I've been into a lot of malls. A lot of them are dying. This one was not. I was very impressed. Also, the promotion was top notch. There was like ads and this and video and pictures. And when we walked in, I was like, oh shit, this is an actual place. This has sound. This has lights. This has like,
this is awesome.
And they were professional too. That was the other thing too. Like, is the promoter going to be any good? Are they doing their job? And they did. They did their job. They did it well. And I came from a time period of fire hall shows, and those were always fun. You can look up all the old deathcore bands that used to have fire hall shows. Whitechapel, Emmure, Casey Strain. There's a lot. Those were always jam packed. Now here locally, they could be. They couldn't be. Depends on who's playing. Depends on whatever. I'm bringing this up because there are a lot of times where we're playing and they'll throw us in second to last. They want us to headline. They want us in the middle of the show, but they won't start the show till like 8 p.m. And I'm 29. I'm not old, but like, goddamn, that's kind of late to start a show to me. Anyways.
That's real late for me because I'm fucking 40 going on 41. I'm like, y'all usually bed by 10:30, so can we play earlier?
Yeah, if Pantera is headlining, all right, I'll wait for 11 p.m. to start, but we're not Pantera. The band after us isn't Pantera. The band after us isn't going to be anywhere close to that size. We had a lot of fun, and this goes for all the shows. This isn't just one show. We always have fun. People always stay, and that's the thing too. Like, people were waiting for us to start. When we loaded in, we always set up merch, get that moving, take pictures of the merch and all that stuff. And people came up. They have no idea who we are. They have no idea what we sound like. And people were immediately buying merch. And we're like, what's happening? This is so off the wall. We were very grateful. We were just like taken back. Like, you want our merch now? We haven't even played yet. So, it's just surprising. So then we start playing, and I'm like, all right, we're going to start playing, and then everyone's going to go smoke cigarettes, right? Everyone's going to go get a drink. No, they're moshing. They're two-stepping. They're watching. And I'm like, no way. I'm always just really surprised because I keep forgetting, like, oh, yeah, I'm in a band. It's just a lot of fun. And then, then you have fun with it. So that's Maryland. That's Virginia Beach. That's every show. It's every show we've ever played.
Okay, that's not bad. Because I know here where I live, because I live on a very small island on the coast of South Carolina.
Okay.
Metal does not exist. Period. Okay. End of story. There is no shows. You're not going to find shows. There used to be shows back in the day, and every once in a while you'll see shows coming to Savannah, Georgia, which is about 45 minutes from where I live. But 9 times out of 10, if a show comes through, it's bigger bands, and they might have like one favorite local band open, if that, you're lucky. So for us, we've got to go to either Jacksonville, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Charlotte, Raleigh. Like, we got to go all the way up to Virginia. We've got to go pretty far in order to get any kind of shows because the metal scene here is just dead. We used to have a place out on one of the islands called Monkey Business, but that was like fucking damn near 20 years ago. And they even brought big bands in. Like, I remember one of the very first times I went to Monkey Business and played with my band, we opened for Powerman 5000. And I think there may have been 30, 40 people, maybe. And that was like a max capacity of like 1,000 people, or not quite 1,000, maybe 800 people could fit in there. And so when you only got 30 something people, I mean, we still played and did it, but it was like, I felt bad for a big band like Powerman 5000. I'm sure they still got paid regardless, but I'm like, you just only played for fucking 30 people, and it only lasted like maybe 2-3 years, and then they shut that fucking place down. So I always like to find out what the metal scenes are like in these different places, especially for the fact that I've really never heard of a metal scene out of West Virginia at all.
Yeah, there's metal bands. I wouldn't say there's a metal scene. There are metal shows, but it's one-off. Other than that, you're getting the country, you're getting the bluegrass, you're getting the West Virginia, but that's about how that goes.
The thing here, it's either reggae, country, or bluegrass, and beach music, and that's about the only thing. Like, the most popular band here is like a fucking Beach Boys cover band. So I mean, that's as far as it fucking goes, and it's fucking horrible. It's horrible. But I mean, it does work for us because, like, my band, we all live in different states. We don't even live near each other. Like, I'm in South Carolina. Our guitarist is in North Carolina. Our vocalist is in Virginia. We have another guitarist in Louisiana. So we're fucking spread out all over the damn place.
Okay. So it must be pretty rare for you guys to actually get together and actually.
Yeah, we tend to really focus on playing nothing but like festivals. That's really what we aim at doing is festivals, because for a band like that, unless you're actually going to do a full tour, it really doesn't make sense to try to get on these one-off shows. It's not feasible, especially at our age, because most of it, I'm the only one in the band that's not married with no kids. Everybody else is married, got 3 to 5 children, and full-time job. I mean, I do have a full-time job outside of this, but I mean, it's hard.
Right.
So for you guys, how hard has it been to pick up steam now compared to probably, like, say, I know you were like 9 years old 20 years ago, but 20 years ago, there wasn't the internet. There wasn't all this stuff. Like, you had to go old school. Do you guys think it would be better as now, or would you rather go back to the old days?
That is the question that always comes up every year and every decade from everybody. Side note, you might see me trying to do something here with my mouse. I'm trying to get into the chat and say hi to everybody in the chat, but it's like, no, you're not getting in. So, chat, I'm not ignoring you. I just can't get in. I'm sorry. You should come up to Erie. I'd love to come up to Erie. I've been there physically. It's a pretty cool place. Don't know anything about the music. Other than that, hello, everybody. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks to these guys for putting me on the stream. So, to answer your question, would we be sitting here today 10 years ago with this interview? Because you didn't pick me up on a Facebook ad now, did you? So there's a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of social media, TikTok, pros and cons across the board. Sometimes we'll post something and people love it, and it's the dumbest shit, just whatever. We try to do a whole bunch of different things, and that's kind of what every band's doing. Like, they're just trying their best to get people to check out their music, and they try all kinds of different ways. There's a artist I've been following for the past, I don't know, 15 years called Disfiguring the Goddess. It's one guy.
I know, I've had him on the show.
So that guy, I know him as Big Chocolate, so I'm just going to call him Big Chocolate. He recently has been putting out a single, I think, every week. And to promote said single, he literally just does like a little shuffle or something in front of a building or in front of a fence or in front of whatever to that song. No hashtags, no ads, and people eat that up. And I'm like, because, man, I could put in, there have been times I've done this. I could put in hours on a video, put in all the best edits and all this crazy stuff. I'm like, damn, pretty good. That was awesome. And I'll put it out and like no comments, no shares. I'm like, you're kidding. And then I'll just randomly, zero effort, late night, try something, and it blows up. And I'm like, you're kidding. So 10 years ago, could that happen? No. 10 years ago, pre-COVID, I think there were more venues and shows and bands in general.
Yeah.
Now, there's still bands, there's still venues. We talked about a venue being shut down. Plenty of venues in our region have shut down. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens. Newer venues have opened up to take their place, such as the Cycle of Life. So I guess I would have no preference on 10 years ago to now, because what happens 10 years from now? What's going to be the thing then? So I'm always just kind of open to whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this discussion many times with, everything from bigger bands to smaller bands. I think the one thing that is the same between some of the smaller bands to bigger bands that I keep hearing, and me and Mojo have heard this time and time again, is with the internet, it's become more competitive, a lot more competitive.
Yeah.
Because you have all these tools at your disposal that you could do yourself, that back in the day, only record labels and PR companies had that ability to do it for you. So you had to pay insane amounts of money in order to get yourself out there, because they were the only ones that had that power to do it, to get you out there. Now you don't need the record labels. To be honest, you really don't need them, unless I've told many bands, and I've been on record labels in the past. I'm like, you have to think about it like this. A record label is no longer what a record label used to be. Now it's a bank, and it gives you a loan that you have to pay back with interest. It's just like taking a personal loan. So if you want to take a gamble, take that personal loan and go buy that merch and buy that tour bus and buy this and that. Yeah, but guess what? Your ass is going to be fucking killing yourself for the next 10 years, if not longer, paying all that back. But there's now all these new ways to make money off the internet with everything that you have, but it is more competitive. It's a lot more competitive. So as far as the competitiveness in the market is concerned, have you guys had any issues getting shows at all?
I mean, you're right. It is very competitive. Everyone's trying to not one up the other band, but get their foot out in front of the other band so they can get noticed first, and hope that they get all the shares and they get all the traction from that. And from there, hopefully they get on a show. Hopefully they get on an interview. Hopefully they get on whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not one to really never not be sure, but I'm not sure. I'm also going to.
Have you ever been turned down for a show?
What's that?
Have you ever been turned down for a show?
So I don't think so. No. The only thing I could really think of would be like some show gets announced with a couple bigger bands, and then we reach out saying like, "Hey, are there any openers?" And they're like, "No," and that's it. No openers. It's like, okay, all right. Sorry for asking. I'm going to cut my cam for a second. I just realized that I have zebra stripes on me, so I'm going to fix that. And
you're good. We have to cut to a commercial break.
So,
you're good. Cool. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay put where y'all are at. We'll be right back. So if y'all are looking to travel anywhere, hit up one of our sponsors, Southern Oasis Travel. That'll hit you. That goes from everything from cruises, flights, anything that you could possibly think of. If you're traveling, you want a vacation, go check out Southern Oasis Travel. Mr. Steve will help you out. Just make sure you throw out the name Hellfire Radio. You might have some big deals for you.
Sweet.
Anyway, so let's get to some more fun shit. So if you guys had your choice, or at least you had your choice to tour with any three bands that you could tour with within your genre, who would you want to tour with?
You know what's funny? Remember when I was talking about we just randomly try things on like TikTok and stuff? We did this thing where we're still doing it. We just haven't had time. Where I'll be behind the camera and ask a member of the band a question just like that. And we all take turns just so people can get to know us a little bit better on a more personable level. My guitarist asked me that exact question, and I don't remember all the bands I mentioned, but I'll try to recreate that. My answer would be the same, but that video took off. Comments, shares, replies. I was like, you're kidding. I'm grateful, but it's just one of those things. I was like, man, we put no effort into this. All right. Anyways, I would say Pantera headlines, just cause. Okay. Then
that's a good one.
I really enjoy not multi-genre shows, but like more of like a diverse show. So with Pantera headlining, there's a band from Australia called King Parrot, and they're like this grindcore, hardcore band that's actually on Phil Anselmo's label, Housecore Records. And that's how I discovered them. And it's one of those things where like the stereotypical, oh man, hardcore music's cool, but their vocalist sucks. No, yeah. This guy is so, I'm a big fan of unique vocal styles. And this dude's vocal style cannot be matched. It's him. It's indistinguishably him. So I really enjoy that aspect of things. And then I don't know which band to mention here, but any of the Max Cavalera bands, because he's got 600 bands he's in. And
yeah, it does. You know,
and I couldn't say, well, let's do 1994 Sepultura. No, let's just do like Cavalera Conspiracy, because they'll probably play some Sepultura songs anyways. Right. And I think that would be a very fun metal show.
So I can get down with you on the vocalists. Like, I like a lot of like my favorite bands are just fucking out there, and I get trashed for it all the time. Like, I love shit like back when they were together, I Wrestled a Bear Once, and Tony Danza, Tap Dance Extravaganza, you know, and Necrogoblicon, Rings of Saturn, like that's like Hunt the Dinosaur. I listen to a lot of those bands, but I'm very diverse as far as metal goes, because I can go from Pantera or Marilyn Manson or Korn and all your fucking mainstream metal bands to these like bands that nobody's ever really hardly ever heard of, like fucking I Wrestled a Bear Once, because I think I've asked a bunch of metal bands if they even heard of it. They're like, we have no idea who that is. Like, no.
What kind of stupid name is that?
Yeah, I'm like, y'all are killing me. But Yeah, that's always one. So if you could, so on the flip side of it, if you could go on tour with 3 bands that are not metal at all, who would you want to go on tour with?
Ooh, that's a very interesting question. All right. Not metal at all.
Yeah.
Well, let's do Colt Ford,
Okay.
just cause.
Well, just for the heck of it.
Let's do Neck Deep. They're a pop punk band. I'm making this
Okay.
the most diverse out of the wall show ever. It's like Warped Tour, but worse. Who else? Man, I'm trying to think of a different genre. Probably some, I don't know any funk bands, but probably some like Motown funk band. And then there's us with the HM2 and just the dumbest show
Mix
ever.
it all up.
Okay. I get into that. So that actually gets into my next question. And I always ask this question. How do you feel about how we have these primarily what used to be primarily metal festivals, like stuff like Welcome to Rockville and Incarceration and stuff like that? How do you feel about them starting to now bring over artists that aren't metal, stuff like you're seeing a lot of hip hop and rap come into it, like Yellow Wolf and Tech Nine and Jelly Roll? Like, are you open to those types of festivals, or are you like, fuck no, metal elitists, let's just keep it metal all the way across the board?
My perspective is a little bit different from the average like metal fan. I've worked these festivals. I've been behind the stage. I've seen what's going on. I've been part of the email conversations. I've seen the ins and outs. I've interviewed bands live. It's fun, have whatever, whoever want to play, because to me, the reason behind having a festival is, yes, having all your favorite bands play together, yay, but you're exposing these bands to hopefully a new audience. And you better believe Tech Nine performing with Probably Falling in Reverse is going to be something crazy to somebody who showed up for Pantera or Seether or whoever played at Sonic Temple this year.
Right.
Same thing with Ink, same thing with Louder Than Life, same thing with whatever. Now that DWP team seems to be kind of taking over on that side of things, which is fine.
Yeah.
They have a good ship and they run it very well. When it comes to other festivals, like Warped Tour isn't a thing anymore. Mayhem is back. I don't know. They're having that one-off show, and then maybe they're doing a tour. All right. For those strictly metal festivals, that's what they're for. But Incarceration is not, or other festivals in that nature, they're not coming out saying, we're metal. We're only metal. And then here's Tech Nine. So it's okay. They're presenting it the way they need to present it, and hopefully it gets to the right audiences.
Yeah, see, I like it because, like, the very first one, for all the times that I've worked, now I have played some bigger festivals in a band, and the only like major festival I ever played was, God, over a decade ago. I did play Mayhem Festival, a one-off on one of their teeny tiny little stages where my band won a fucking battle of the bands.
Yep. Okay.
And we got to play just that one.
I remember
fucking
those.
Yeah, I got to play that one show, and it was awesome. Like, it was filled out, fucking plenty of people. We sold tons of merch, had a great time. At that time, it was all pure metal. But then whenever I went over to working for radio stations, the first one I ever covered was Welcome to Rockville down in Jacksonville. Now, I had been to Welcome to Rockville ever since the beginning. Every year, I always went. That was always like my one festival. It was only a 2.5-hour drive for me. I always went. Well, the year that I got to cover it, they had Tech Nine and Yellow Wolf on there. Now, I'd never heard of them. Didn't know who the fuck these dudes were. Had no clue. And I'm like, I'm one of those guys that I would look and I'd be like, seen that band, seen that band, seen that band. I don't have an interview for like 2 hours, so I'm going to try to catch these because I've never heard of them before. And and this is the exact same way that I found Ghost. I'm a huge Ghost fan. Never seen Ghost in my life, and I waited and watched them, and I was very glad I did because they put on one hell of a show. but I seen Tech Nine go out there and everybody was talking shit. Like I'm hearing everybody in the crowd like, this is a fucking rapper. Why is there goddamn rap here? Why is there fucking hip hop? This is a metal festival, throwing a fit. After he was done, their tune completely fucking changed because all these motherfuckers that are talking shit were going up there to get goddamn Tech Nine shit. And I was like, and I was blown away. Like I really was. I was like, these motherfuckers are good. And like they didn't give two flying fucks. Like they literally made a believer out of every goddamn person in this crowd. So if you go out there and go to a crowd that isn't really primarily into your music and doesn't listen to your music, and you could fucking change their mind by the time you get off that stage, that's a fucking artist. And they belong there. They earn that right to be on that fucking stage, regardless whether it's a metal festival or what the fuck it is. They earned it. And then Tech Nine's been crossing over, but of course crossovers have been happening way before. You know, a lot of people don't think about back in the day with Korn did that song fucking, I can't remember, I think it was like Children of the Grave or some shit with Ice Cube. And I mean, shit, Run DMC did it with Aerosmith before half of us were even fucking born.
Anthrax.
No, I loved one.
Yeah. Fucking Anthrax did it too, and nobody wants to fucking talk about that shit. Be like, man, that shit happened fucking before most of you were even fucking born, but you just haven't ever listened to it. No clue. But I love hearing metal bands go, fuck yeah, bring them. You know, let them come.
Even better when they collab with them.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have no idea what's going to fucking come out. And I try to tell people all the time that don't listen to metal. I'm like, metal is one of the most diverse music genres there is. There's been so much shit that's been intertwined with heavy metal over the years, and nobody's ever given it a fucking chance. But I mean, I've even heard fucking metal and metal starting to meld into country with like that new guy, fucking Hardy. Hardy's been, you know, mixing in fucking heavy guitars and metal type guitars into his own. I love his shit. And I hate country. Fucking despise it. Cannot stand it. That's the one genre of music I do not like, but I like hard. Because that shit is dope. I give it to him. However he came up with that fucking idea, dude, you fucking aced it. You killed it. Because when you put yourself in this little box, you're keeping yourself away from all these other fans that you could possibly have. But when you keep an open mind and start experimenting with shit, that's when shit gets fun. That's when shit gets really interesting. All right, so my next question, we always got to ask this one. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Yeah, it's fantastic. If you haven't had it, I always suggest to give it a shot because, I mean, we're past that now, I think. It's been a few years. When I was a resident assistant at my college, that was big debate. And I think there was like 14 of us on staff. It was a big building. We're all sitting down in the lobby and someone brought that up. And I was like, who here has tried it? And like two people. I was like, do you like it? And they're like, yeah. Crazy. So I was like, all right, hold on. Domino's is right down the hill. You better believe. I said, put some pineapple on that pizza. And they brought it up. I'm like, listen, if you don't like it, no big deal. I just spent $6 on a pizza. It's not the end of the world. But if you do like it, you gotta give me 10 push-ups. Anyways, whatever. I thought. I don't know. So they all tried it, and they're like, "Damn, this is sweet, and it's juicy, and it's good." I'm like, "Yeah, crazy." Anyways, yeah, it belongs on pizza.
Excellent.
Throw a jalapeno on there, and it's perfection.
So, what is the absolute worst food that you've ever had traveling and playing? Worst road food. You can name the place if you like. We don't give a shit.
Oh, don't worry, I will. Okay. When you say worst because of how it made you feel, worst because of the taste, like what are we trying to hit here?
All of it.
Open. Okay, gotcha. Permane Brothers. It's the worst. I've never had anything worse in my life because it has no flavor. Anyone that goes Permane's, I don't understand what you're doing. Do you not have flavor palate? What's going on with you? Do you need to go see somebody? Permane's, how are you still in business? You have no flavor. When you cut your fries, you put salt on said fries. Anyways.
Love it. I love it.
Well, don't go
clip.
there.
We had a band last week from Ohio, and one of the guys, the first guy that ever was like dead on with me, gas station sushi.
I mean, that's a given. I don't even know why it's a thing.
That's what I say.
In my defense, we had a tire blowout. No one in the band
Not all of you had
changed
blowout.
tire but me. So I was like, okay, fine. Y'all go inside to the gas station. Y'all get food, and I'm going to fix the tire. So they all go in. They come out. They're like, we have food. I'm like, great. Tire's ready to go. We jump in, and this dude hands me this fucking plate of goddamn sushi. And I'm like, this is a gas station.
He's like, there's no restaurant here. Where did this come
I
from?
understand. He's like, no, it's good. It's good. I'm like, it's a gas station. Well, at this point, I'm starving. I haven't ate in like fucking a day and a half. And I'm just like, all right, fine. Fuck it. I'm hungry. I'm going to fucking eat it.
Should have not done that.
We get to the hotel, and there's like a dude shitting in a flower pot on the fucking balcony. There's a dude in the shower, dude on the toilet, dude in the sink. And it was just
All the ambulance. It was wild.
all out. Like, the worst
Best.
food poisoning, and all of us are sick as shit. We still played the show that night, but it was not fun. And my drummer gets off stage. He's like,
Runs off.
I shit myself. He
I
did
mean,
it.
this might
He
be
shit
an unpopular
himself.
opinion here.
He
This
did.
might
He
be
shit
an unpopular
himself
opinion. Sorry.
on stage. Pure diarrhea down his pants. It kept playing the whole damn show. I'm like, I give you props for that. That's some serious shit. But goddamn, dude. I'm like,
I couldn't imagine.
at that point, oh my god, yeah, it is bad. All right, so the best food you've ever had on the road.
I'm a weird guy to ask this question because I'm not picky with food. I'll try anything. Not gas station sushi, but I'll try anything. Not Permane Brothers either, ever again. I like healthy stuff. I'm weird. And like, because of my work schedule, I work 3 jobs. It's wild. I have to kind of meal prep. So, I mean, if you're down and dirty, you could always get fast food. You could always get whatever. But I mean, I like Chipotle a lot. I think it's great. I would really love an endorsement from Chipotle. I go there every day. No, I don't go there every day, but I'll go there like once or twice a week. Not the same order every time, but similar. And people are like, "Oh, it's so gross. Oh, it's so expensive, and they don't give you enough." I'm like, man, it's real food.
They do.
Makes you feel good. No, I don't know. So that's
It's not greasy.
I like Chipotle. I was actually shocked when I found out Chipotle was owned by McDonald's. I was like, really?
I don't know if you're up to snuff with the stock market, but their stock was, I think, $4,000 a share. It was crazy. And then something happened recently where they did a split, and this is not my financial hour here. I don't care. But whenever they did the split, it said that each share was now down to $50. And I looked and I was like, no way they went from $4,000 a share to 50. I was about to buy in crazy amounts. Like I was about to deplete my bank account because I'm crazy. But no, they split the stock and I had to learn what that meant. So a little bit of Chipotle knowledge on you.
Gotcha. That's fair enough. I like Chipotle. I can get down on some Chipotle. I like to eat healthy too. I'm a fucking gym rat and stay in the fucking gym constantly.
Yep.
So moving on with, you said that you got 3 jobs. So how do you balance band with work life?
Well, full-time job, 42 hours. Do I work all 42 of those hours? Yes,
Probably
I
not.
absolutely do. But there are times where I have some downtime and I can like step aside and get a couple things done on a MacBook or on my phone or whatever. Like, again, I can make a quick post and 50-50 shot of it going anywhere. Part-time job for radio is random. It's not consistent. I did 0 hours this week. Next week I'm doing 2, but the 2 is for a remote for a 5K. I'm getting paid for that, and I'm not getting paid hourly. I'm just getting paid. Here you go.
Right.
So 2 hours a week there. Okay. I work merch for Live Nation. I just worked Cage the Elephant last night. And I didn't like I worked from 7:30 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. at my full-time job, drove 45 minutes and then worked whatever time I got there until 11:30 p.m. and then got home. Like it was a whole day. How do I balance with band life? Well, this weekend is my get stuff done weekend. We also have a group chat. You know, we constantly are in connection with each other. Like if someone has a question about something, or like we have a show coming up and everyone's like, hey, when we getting together? Getting together is not a, all right, time to learn the songs kind of deal. No. You learn that on your own, and then you come in to rehearse said song. So everyone's time isn't kind of wasted. So in that sense, like we have like the gears going the right way. And everyone, for the most part, knows what to do and how to do it well. I do a lot for the band. I was the one that started said band, and that's not making me I'm not trying to sound like I am better because I started the band or anything. That's not the case. I'm not that kind of guy. I do a lot. Everyone else has their own lives. Everyone else has their own things. It's just kind of how it's been. They like it. I, in a weird way, like it. So,
Okay.
you know,
It works.
I like to stay busy.
All right, that works. I know I like to ask that because it's like a lot of people, I've seen so many bands collapse just because of work life. And it's like you have bills to pay, you have this life, you're trying to do the band at the same time. And a lot of times that shit collides. And that's what makes it so hard to build a band up and actually do something with it if that is your goal. You know, and I know bands right now that they live out of a van. Like they're big bands that you would think would have big houses, big ass tour bus. No, they're literally living in a goddamn van with a travel trailer, and that's it. And they just know a lot of people around the US that they could go crash, catch a shower, whatever. And they're literally living out of a fucking van. And
That's the thing too. So like we all collectively know this is not Nickelback. This is not 3 Days Grace. We're not going to sell out an arena. We're probably not going to sell out a show on our own, but that's okay. We understand that. We're just writing music that we like and having fun playing it. And then when people enjoy said music, again, going back on what I said earlier, we're all surprised because you know it's our music. We're happy that you enjoy it. And that's all I got.
You're good. No, that definitely works.
So we know that we're not going to go buy a van and then go live out of the van and then go on tour. Like we all have things going on. If a show comes up and it's worth, I don't want to say worth our while, but like everything lines up and clicks the right way, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We get a show offer and it's like, no, we can't do it. We're not going to like fight tooth and nail and try to make it work. we're just gonna, if it works, it works. That's kind of our mentality.
Yes, I mean, and every band should go off of that, but obviously they don't, because I've had a lot of friends start bands that were fantastic. Like I would hear their stuff and go, this band could go somewhere, this band's going to do something, and then it just fucking falls apart because they take shows that they really shouldn't be taking, that really is not going to be monetarily helping to the band at all. You're going there and you're coming back $200 in the hole, $400 in the hole.
Yeah.
You know, that shit ain't gonna do you no good. You have to know what you can take and what you can't take, and know when to say no.
Yep.
And like one of my early bands when I was in my early 20s, we had to learn that the hard way. Of we said yes to everything. And by the end of like 3-4 months, we're like, God damn, we're like $1,000 fucking hole, and we're just burying ourselves at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to know when to say no. It is so fucking important. All right, so what was that one defining moment that made you want to be in a band? Everybody's got it.
I mean, I've been doing it since the high school days. Jam band, get together with a couple buddies, have fun, play fire hall shows. So when I work Live Nation, we have a little name badge, and it has your first name, and it says my first concert was, and my answer is Mudvayne. I saw Mudvayne when I was like 13, 2006. I don't remember, but that was in Columbus, Ohio, and it's a conversation starter, is what that is. People see that and go, "Oh, your first concert was Mudvayne? Tell me about that." And you're just shooting the shot with them and just making the conversation easy and the transaction better. That way you're not just like a robot selling merch. You're a real person. So I guess seeing Mudvayne live for the first time, because they were my first big band I saw. Big Mudvayne fan back in the day. If they put out music again and it sounds good, I'll probably go right back into being a fan. But like, I've waited a long time and I'm getting kind of impatient on them, but that's another story.
I'm so upset because I had the chance to go see Mudvayne. They just played here Tuesday night. Well, in Charleston, which is about an hour and a half away from me. And I had fucking tickets to go, and shit came up and I wasn't able to go. And I was like, God damn it. Every time I try to see fucking Mudvayne, something fucks it up. I did see them like way back in the day, probably around 2000 and something. And I remember the tour Chad Gray was playing in a panda suit. And the openers at the time were completely unknown. They're huge bands now, but it was non-pointing in this moment. Nobody knew who the fuck they were at the time. And we seen them and watched him playing this goddamn panda suit, and he spent half the show fucking puking off the side of the stage. But that motherfucker did it. But like for me, that whole like defining moment of being a musician was actually when I was a kid in the MTV days, back when it was actually MTV, of seeing the music video for Ace of Spades by Motorhead and seeing Lemmy, because I'm a bassist. And I seen that shit, and I was like, I want to be like Lemmy. I want to play music. I want to be a musician. That's what I want to do. And that was the moment that just fucking sold it for me. And I was like, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
As we're talking, and I'm talking about Mudvayne, I guess it's kind of a full circle thing now. Saw them when I was 13. The camera I'm doing this with, my Panasonic GH5, Mudvayne was actually the first band I did professional photography for. I've done like local bands and whatever shows beforehand, but if you give me this is going to look awkward me getting this, but if you give me a second, I'll show you. I have my first professional photo framed of Chad Gray, so hold on a second.
That's cool.
I don't want to say like I forgot about it, but I like looked up behind my computer. I was like, oh yeah.
Okay.
There it is. Try to get the ring light out of there, but yeah.
There you
That's
go.
awesome.
That's a good
Very
picture.
fun show. Thank you. So
Heck
yeah, I had to make
yeah.
sure I got it
Yeah.
framed and all that stuff.
That
Heck
is
yeah. I know
awesome.
how that is.
Yeah, I think so. That was your first show. God damn. Yeah, that definitely showed your age. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It was
That's
them 10 years and Snot whenever Tommy Vext was doing vocals for Snot.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Fucking watching his career. Goddamn, he's been bouncing from damn band to band to band to band.
But it's not his fault.
No,
He's a great
it's
guy.
not. No, it's not. I wanted to see him. I think the first time I discovered him was Divine Heresy.
Yep.
Was the first band I ever discovered, which was just a freak thing on fucking YouTube when YouTube
Failed
just.
creation.
Yep. That was the very first song, and I was just like, holy shit, this band is amazing.
It was a very unique song that came out, and I don't know what the numbers are right now on YouTube, but I'm sure it's in the millions, not millions.
Oh, yeah.
Because Divine Heresy is probably my favorite band that he was ever in, minus Snot, because they did like 2 songs with them, and it was really good. And then, see ya. So, Divine Heresy. Did you know that they kind of, when I say he kind of re-recorded some Divine Heresy songs
No,
recently?
I did not.
So it's called, I'll have to look while we talk about it, but it's him, the former guitarist of Soulfly, and now he's in Il Nino. Can't remember his name off the top of my head because now I'm blanking, but that's fine. It was a song title from the Divine Heresy first album, and he's doing this weird thing where he's not uploading it to any streaming things. He's doing it like he has his own, I don't want to call it a streaming service, but it's like his own private YouTube thing, and you have to pay like a subscription to listen to it. It's weird. But yeah, they re-recorded stuff, and he made this announcement about it, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. I would love, because they were playing shows and stuff too. It was the original drummer Tim, him, Il Nino guitarist, a couple other people, Bleed the Fifth. So they called it Bleed the Fifth. That was the band name.
Okay.
Yeah. And Fear Factory guitarist was not part of it, and apparently there's a big feud between those two. Which, okay, you do you.
Right.
I was excited. I was like, all right, let's do it. I would love to see Bleed the Fifth live. I'd love to hear these songs live. And then he put out like 2 of the singles on his own Spotify. So it's under Tommy Vext, and they're covers basically. It had potential, and then he dropped the ball.
That's sad. That's horribly sad. All right, so now that we're starting to wrap things up, where do you guys like to talk to fans? Where can they buy your music, merch, anything like that?
So we're a band called God's End. We're a hardcore band out of West Virginia in the United States. It's not, we don't have, it's not God''S. It's just God's plural end. It's very fun, you know. Anyways, where can they find us? We're on all social media. We're not really on X. Let me take that back. We're not really on X because whatever. But everything ever is just God's X End. TikTok, YouTube, everything. All of our merchandise and anything like that can be found on any of those socials. There's like a link tree that has music video and our Big Cartel merch site and this and that, and you know, live videos and stuff like that. So if you want to kind of get into that kind of stuff, you could. It's all from our link tree. And then, you know, of course, every band's gonna ask, like, please stream our music. But you know, really, it does help. Streaming our music does help, whether it be on Spotify, Apple, anything. If you enjoy it, you know, by all means, thank you. If you listen to 3 seconds of it and you hate it, that's okay. I'm sorry, but that's everything we have.
All right, cool. So thank you for joining us tonight. Y'all go check out God's End. Go get them on Facebook. Go buy merch. Go support them. We are out of here. We will see you guys next Friday. I don't think we have a special show next week, but we'll be back on fucking Friday. We love you guys. Be safe. Don't be stupid. Don't drink and drive. Wrap your tool. All that good shit.
Yep.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.